The idea that we are all here in this together and we need to support each other and do whatever we can to do it. And as in the men's shed, you do it as a group and it bonds you all, and then you give a product to someone in the community. Like we just made horse shelters for Lanark therapeutic riding program. So they wanted a horse shelter built. And so we did that. 6 or so of us were out there, and it was great. We had a great time. Took 2 days, and so brought us together, brought us those 2 groups together as well, and so it's a real community sort of oriented concept, I find. And it's very easy to start. As I said, one guy is just in a conference room. That's what ours was for about a year and a half. We met in a conference room, and it was just 3 or 4 of us at first. We just got together, okay, how are we going to do this? We chat and talk. And finally it took off. And so we had a shop and all that sort of thing. Now, I said I was going to give some numbers, so I'll try not to bore you, but in Australia, numbers people glaze over, at least I do. In Australia, it was the main, sort of the first recognized men's shed was in the mid-90s, the first one, and now they have over 1,000 in Australia. After that, in about the mid-2000s, it started to go off in the UK and Ireland, Scotland as well. The UK has 461, Ireland has 400 and some sheds, Scotland I'm not sure. The United States now has 11 sheds, so New Zealand has quite a few as well. I don't think I have the numbers for that. So the whole concept is really taking off. Australia, again, they're at the forefront. The Australian national government decided to allocate $4 million over 5 years, I think it was, back in 2011, to put towards men's sheds, to developing men's sheds. And they just got a grant, the Australian Men's Shed Association just got a grant, a 1-year grant for $1 million. So the reason they're doing this is that it's recognized that the whole men's shed concept and having getting these guys together and out of their houses and not, doing basically self-destructive things potentially, is that they realize it's a proactive health measure. So it's lowering the rates of depression. In fact, I have several studies. Well, maybe I got the numbers here. No, we don't. They're right. Yeah. Okay, so there they are. There's something called the SF12 scores. I don't know if anyone knows about those. It's just gives an idea of a person's mental health, their attitude towards life, kind of thing. And so there has been some studies done on the effects of men's sheds. It's pretty new, right? They've only been around 25 years maximum. And so there's not a lot of room to do a lot of extensive studies with large sample sizes. But the SF12s, they basically ask how you're doing, like physically and emotionally, actually, the SF12s. They found that there was a significant difference in the people who attended the sheds compared to non-shed people. That there's a significant difference in physical functioning, in their general health, vitality, and their mental health. Okay, so and it was a significant difference. So it seems to help out. This is the kind of stuff we need, is to get some numbers to support the whole idea of the shed concept. There's also something called the WE and WBS scores, which are more mental health, and that was developed over in Edinburgh. E comes from. And there's 14 parameters that they ask people about how they're doing. And in all 14 parameters, there's a significant increase or better outcome in all 14 parameters for people who attended sheds. So they seem to have an effect on men's lives. Not only men's lives, but their spouses, their children, their friends, everyone around them, right? Instead of somebody sitting there being despondent and not doing much of anything, they come out and start to become more vital. And that helps everyone else around them. How am I doing for time? It's time. It's time. So I had lots of numbers and I had all sorts of other stuff, but I realized we're running out of time. Can I do some questions?
Yeah, one or two questions.
One or two questions. Yes, sir.
How are men's sheds different from Rotary or other clubs along those lines, Lions?
That's what I wanted. The first time I started the men's shed, that was my question too. Rotary, Lions, and all those things. Basically, they're fundraising efforts, or they go out and sort of do help out around the community, right? But in the men's sheds, they tend to build things or repair things. Like one of the activities that about 4 or 5 guys regularly do is that they do the maintenance at the local women's shelter. So they do the maintenance. They fixed up some of the electrics because the one guy's an electrician. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. There's a wealth of knowledge and experience in these guys that are like 70, you know, they just retired, and there's so much knowledge. And that's the other part of the men's shed is that's good, is that these guys get to sort of help spread or share their knowledge, which is really important. It gives you a sense of confidence that, hey, these guys want to know what I'm, talking about. So can share that sense of their knowledge and whatnot. So it's more physical. Mostly it's physical stuff, right? Physically building things, or even helping out. But as far as I know, the Lions clubs and all that are more fundraiser type organizations. I could be wrong, but
yes, they do that, but it's also a social gathering.
Oh yeah.
Where you mostly, in my case anyways, we go to a gathering or to a luncheon or something, and what you had were people at the podium speaking the same way you are. You're not physically active in anything per se, unless there's a specific activity out there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes.
One more question.
One more?
I was just wondering, you mentioned a lot about retirement or sheds only right now for people who are retired.
No, most are basically have that focus, but no, it's not. In Australia, there's lots that have younger men, disabled, like mentally, physically disabled people. So no, it's not restricted to that. And again, it's the shed that decides who's, what they want to make of it, how they want it to work. So no, it's not restricted to retired people.
Thank you so much. What can, say, the Center for Men and Families do? Is the mention open to collaboration, partnerships with other
Of course, yes, absolutely. I've got some, I get referrals from the social support networks that are in the community to asking if guys can join the shed. So they're referring our shed to their clients essentially. So yes, yeah.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
We're going to be moving along to our panel event.